I'm a stand-up comedian.
Are you really?
Well, yeah, and I was just wondering, like, how do I get on this scheme exactly? How are you picking it? Because I don't want this to go to one of my rivals.
You maybe need to be funny.
Shots fired.
I'm Marc Jennings, stand-up comedian, podcaster, and like lots of Scots these days, scunnered. All my life I've been told, you need to vote. But I find myself asking, what for?
So many people are feeling really scunnered.
I feel scunnered.
They're scunnered.
Scunnered and fed up.
You're all the same.
So before this year's Scottish election, I'm on a mission to see if any of them are really worth the bother. 6 parties, 1 question. Why vote? Like a Calmac ferry sitting in dry dock, the SNP have been sitting in government for a very long time. To talk policy, I met candidate Angela Constance. Why do you feel it's important to vote?
Well, it is important to vote. It's your way of having your say, and I would urge people to vote and not let other people speak on their behalf. And I think voting is a more effective way of having your say than putting a post on social media or having a rant on a podcast. And I believe you have a podcast, Mark.
Well, I believe you have a few posts on social media. How's that been, getting a lot of love online?
You get a bit of love online, but you also get some really interesting comments.
I've got the quote here. Is the top comment on your most viral video calls you a diva with a mildly threatening aura.
Yeah.
And the only thing I would disagree there is the mildly part.
Good. We'll get off to a good start then.
Yeah, I'm petrified, to be perfectly honest. Why should people vote for the SNP?
This is Scotland's second chance for more powers. We know that Westminster always listens when the SNP win outright. This could be a historic election for Scotland's voice to be heard and for Scotland's future to be in Scotland's hands.
How do the SNP counter claims that they've been in power too long? Because obviously it's been 19 years. What do you say to people who say that 20's plenty?
You've heard Mr Swinney recently. He's just getting started.
Well, John Swinney has talked about a fresh start, but for a guy of his age and appearance, does that not normally involve a hair transplant?
61's the new 45, Mark.
Well, okay. Now, what are the SNP's plans to tackle the cost of living crisis?
So life is tough, and it's tough in particular for young people. Young people are struggling to get on to the property ladder. Sometimes the cost of rent can be more than a mortgage. So we'll introduce support for first-time buyers up to £10,000.
Does that also apply if you're buying a camper van?
Oh, well, I'm not much of a traveller, and I couldn't possibly comment about a camper van.
Okay, cool. That's what the press secretary told me you would say. Now, let's move on to transport. What are the SNP's plans for improving transport in Scotland?
I'm very proud of the fact that concessionary travel, free bus passes, exist for people with disabilities or older people, and also under 22s. And it's also been announced that bus fares will be capped to £2.
See that £2 cap, is that for a single or for a return?
I don't know, but I'll find out for you.
Okay, that's probably, that's what they get you, innit? So it's £2, but you need to pay another £2 to get back.
Detail.
Now, with the cost of living, there's a question about, do politicians really understand, how the cost of living crisis is affecting the average voter?
Well, the cost of living is certainly perilously high for a lot of people of all ages. But I do think, as a country, what we need to guard against is we don't want this generation to be the first generation that's actually worse off than their parents. And it's imperative that we don't squander our resources or let Westminster squander our wealth.
Could we frack in West Lothian?
We'll not be having any fracking. No fracking.
Okay.
No fracking here, please. You can frack off.
Oh, wow. There you go. Talk to me about the SNP's policies for the environment. What's the big talking points there?
Well, currently the SNP is halfway towards meeting its net zero targets.
Are the SNP in favour of more windmills just because it annoys Donald Trump?
If they annoy Donald Trump, well, they annoy Donald Trump.
Added bonus?
What I'd like to see, that may be a bit undiplomatic, but added bonus. What I would like to see is more communities benefit from renewable energy and have up to a 20% stake in it.
So the SNP are piloting a minimum income for Scotland's writers, musicians, filmmakers and stand-up comedians. So does that mean that Mary Black's still going to be on the payroll?
I think there's a serious point about the creative industries making a huge contribution to Scotland, and it's a growing industry.
I'm a stand-up comedian.
Are you really?
Well, yeah, and I was just wondering, like, how do I get on this scheme exactly? How are you picking it?
You
'Cause I don't
maybe
want this to go to one of my rivals.
You maybe need to be funny.
Shots fired.
Angela Constance there, giving me plenty to chew over. So I helped myself to an SNP bacon roll and pondered the bun fight that exists when London and Edinburgh share power.
Political bickering between the Scottish and UK parliaments often boil down to a playground game of they started it. War, they started it. Recession, they started it. Ending good, we started it. That was us.
It's nearly impossible to tell who's actually responsible for anything good or bad. Like a married couple sharing the same TV remote, Holyrood and Westminster control different programmes and often push each other's buttons. But if we're being honest, most of us follow Scottish politics about as closely as lower league football. You stick on First Minister's questions and it feels like the only other viewers are three men and a dog.
Elections though, that's the World Cup. Suddenly everyone's an expert.
Folk who couldn't name their MSP last week are now analysing policy like they're on Newsnight. Where were they during the by-elections in Hustings? Now your auntie's picking a winner based on who's got the nicest hair? The Scottish Parliament sits right across from Holyrood Palace, the King's official residence in Scotland.
Just to remind us who's really in charge.
Unless, of course, you think it's tech giants, lizards, or alien lizard tech giants. But enough about lizards, it's time to talk to the wizard for a proper peek behind the proverbial political curtain. It's Professor Sir John Curtice.
Like, what percentage would you give the SNP not winning this election?
1%.
Right. So you're saying there's a chance?
I mean, there's always a chance, right? I mean, it may be tomorrow. All of a sudden, we would discover something about John Swinney. Maybe we discover.
What have you heard?
Maybe we suddenly discover that secretly he actually believes in the union, and that this therefore just so threatens the image of the SNP.
Double agent?
Well, okay. I mean, yes, maybe operating for President Putin. Yeah, I mean, it has to be something that really causes a crisis of confidence in what the SNP is about and what its leader is about.
So why might people vote for the SNP? What is their appeal?
Oh, the central feature of SNP support is that they are virtually all of them, to a man and a woman, people who believe in independence. The other crucial attribute the SNP have is that they are perceived as being the party that's most willing to stand up for Scotland. One of the things above all that voters in Scotland want, and even people who believe in the union, what they want is a party that will primarily fight Scotland's corner and will be willing to have arguments with London when they think London is wrong.
The saltire used to be a big feature of SNP campaigns, but its meaning has been somewhat co-opted recently by more right-wing people. I've actually been putting up Scotland flags in areas of Glasgow that I've been trying to move to bring the property prices down.
It was at this moment in the interview that John Curtice clocked that it's been me flying flags outside his gaff. Conversation closed. So,
SNP, will they be cruising to another election victory, or has their ship sailed? That's up to you, because I'm not going to bother voting. Waste of time.
but don't go making hasty decisions just yet. Watch the other episodes first. I put a lot of hard work into them, you know.